goofed that.
I don't know how I goofed it either.
Who is this? Says Bear pulled a Brian.
All right, I got it figured out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bear's afraid of us. So you're running now, right?
I'm running now. So
welcome to Bears viewers.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fast Charger with BnB. I'm gonna replay what happened in the last 4 minutes in fast motion.
Well, the good news is,
and the Hyundai sucks.
We're only on our second article.
Yeah.
Just to recap, the USPS is getting some money for the trucks, for the mail trucks, and Hyundai is speeding up construction of their plant in the U.S. to better capitalize on the EV tax credit. And then,
boom.
What about India?
Oh, well, you forgot the most important part. My dog bit the mailman. Anyway.
Yes. Well, in my comments, I got someone saying that it's if someone drives something that ugly, I'd bite him too.
Ooh. Well, which one was the one that I was driving? What was I driving?
The mail truck.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought that meant me.
Did you bite the mailman?
I was going to.
Bear is a very common name for dogs.
See?
Switch Mobility sees e-bus market tripling to 6,000 units next year. Switch India has already secured an order of 200 electric double-decker buses in Mumbai and is looking at a dominant space in the electric double-decker segment across key regions in the country. These are real. These are out. These are already in use.
I'm going to zoom in so everyone can see what's really real.
This man has a rifle. I assume he's the ticket taker.
Yes.
Got to pay the fare.
Yeah. You don't pay your ticket, they're not going to throw you off the bus. They're going to shoot you.
I imagine one of these gentlemen on the side is somewhere here is a high-ranking minister or three, and that's why you have security. And what's better than 5 invisible Secret Service guys, one dude with a rifle? You can absolutely shoot the minister, but you're going to get shot too.
Yeah, but people who do that don't seem to care.
Andrew says they have electric buses in London already. I know there are other countries that have already electrified. I think the electric bus market is already pretty well established. But this is great because India's got some really dirty air, and it'll be great to get it cleaned up. This article says a bus replaces 32 to 38 cars.
Yeah, and
a double-decker is nice because their roads are quite full.
Yeah. Do you think there's access problems with the height of that vehicle in some places? Because India is one of those places where I see a lot of wires and stuff going around.
Boy, I assume it's on a dedicated route, so
yeah.
Just address the route.
Yes.
I've been on a double-decker bus in Mexico, a tour bus, where someone had to come up in one neighborhood and literally poke the power line with a stick so we could clear it.
Nice.
Classic Mexico.
That really is, actually.
It really is.
So, what about classic China?
Great news. Hainan, the region, has set to end pure combustion vehicle sales in 2030, and that includes just regular hybrids, non-plug-in hybrids, but they will still allow plug-ins, which without a charging infrastructure, that's a gasoline car, my friend.
Yeah, and if you don't ever plug your plug-in hybrid in, it's just a car.
Well, it does have the benefit of regen, but so the Prius got exceptional mileage without being able to be plugged in. It's and 2030, that's not that long off, 7.5 years.
Yeah. We'll have to see if some of the other provinces follow suit on this.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they will, just because China's really pushing to be energy independent. That way they can eventually rule the world without fighting. But that's just me and Sandy Monroe thinking that.
I don't think you're wrong.
Well,
do we have any other China news?
From China?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this from China. Xpeng, which is not the right way to say it, missed their earnings and their guidance. Though it does look like It was mostly due to the lockdowns, the heat wave, and the drought that was forcing factories to shut down. So once
But their revenue was up.
Well, I can't explain that. Can you?
It could be, yes. It could be that they have paid for parts and paid for capacity that they were unable to complete and sell.
Yes. So
I still have. I'm not worried about Xiaopeng's future. I'm reasonably confident they will survive. What do you think?
I agree. I think they're one of the better EV makers, and I do agree with you on all those things. When you idle factories, it does cost you a lot of money. Like you said, you've got parts that were coming in; they're still coming in. You've got bills to pay, and who knows whether or not they even had to pay the employees for this off time. So there are those factors in there. So
there are substantial costs to idling a factory.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, my outlook, it's a blip.
A blip. Well, we'll see. Next quarter, you never know. Maybe it'll turn into a bloop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of bloops, Rivian really made I think, a mistake on this by dropping their entry level Rivian. So essentially raising the price of all of their Rivians, or any of their Rivians, because you don't have the Explorer package anymore, which started at $6,857. Now you can only get one for a minimum of $73,575. Plus you throw.
Well, no, the 73,575 was the entry level R1S.
Oh, they got. Oh. Well.
So now the adventure package for the R1T is 74,000, and the R1S is 79,000.
Okay.
Isn't the EV cutoff 80, or the cutoff for a full size SUV 80, for an SUV 80,000?
It is. So yeah, they're just under it, so they cannot really have any more price increases. So
why do you think they've gotten rid of those two vehicles, those two base model vehicles?
Because they weren't making enough profit.
They weren't making any, is my guess.
Well, yeah.
The reviews I've seen say it is so masterfully engineered and complicated that it's surely expensive to build.
Yes. But they are building them. Well,
they are building them. And they've got cash on hand. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. And they're going to be competing against the Silverado, the Lightning, the Cybertruck. They need to make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, I need you to chat for a minute while I
sure thing.
Fix something.
There was the other day I interviewed Alexandra, who is absolutely wonderful, Tesla Boomer Mama. And one thing she said about Rivian, she's concerned that once the Cybertruck comes out in volume, it may be a vastly better vehicle for a bit less money and cause a real harm to Rivian.
Yeah, and if they're able to get them out and start actually mass producing them, it's going to be a big hit for Ford, for Chevy with the Silverado, for Rivian. Right now, the number one thing about the Rivian to me is the fact that people are getting them, and I don't think are they beating the F-150 Lightning production?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think they're fairly close.
Well, they're both still pretty low volume.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news on both of them is people really like them.
Yeah.
But I think the Rivian's awfully heavy.
Yeah, it's more than awfully heavy. It's extremely heavy. And if they can do something about that, it would really help them out with their towing situation.
Yes.
And Ford has a similar situation with being too heavy.
What's going on with them?
So they they're eliminating 3,000 jobs because they feel like they're too heavy as far as workers.
Well, considering their volume is down by millions,
mm-hmm.
I believe that cutting jobs may be the right decision.
Yes, and I'm sure a lot of the people who are getting cut are going to be related to ICE-related vehicles as opposed to the EV side.
Yeah. The real struggle here is most of these are in Michigan and Metro Detroit, and that area, that region is really hurting.
It's always hurting though. If you're not in the car industry in Detroit, it seems like you're unemployed.
Yeah. You work at the gas station.
Yeah, but if you work at the if you work at a restaurant near one of these factories or near corporate headquarters, you are being supported by the car business.
Right. And if you are next to that plant that just lost 2,000 people,
I think
your restaurant will feel it.
I think this is going to be spread out over a wide area. I don't know why I say that, but if it was happening at one factory, it'd be very easy to nail down where these jobs are coming from, and they did not nail them down. So I think this might be a cutting the fat kind of thing.
Yes. And in terms of Ford's survival, I would agree that this is not, a canary in the mine, as it were.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing except for the 3,000 people. That's my take on it.
Any other crazy news on cars?
Yeah, this is crazy. This is cray-cray. Lucid has introduced the three-motor Air Sapphire. It looks like it was probably made to go up against the Plaid. The Plaid is a big seller for Tesla, and if you order one, you'll get one fairly quickly. And it's a very fast car. We all know that. So Lucid went out and built something that's faster than that, and it seems like it's faster and better in many, many ways. They've upgraded the brakes. They've put some wheel molding on it to widen the stance, which means you get some wider tires, get a different set of rims. You get a color of a sapphire blue, which is
even on the brake calipers.
Even on the brake calipers, I've never seen a sapphire blue on a caliper before. And they've done several. What were some of the other changes that they did, Brian? We went over this, but
so on the motors, they've gone with they've configured the tri-motor in the same way as the Plaid, which is to say 2 in the trunk, 1 in the frunk.
Yeah.
And then they've got the brakes, suspension, rims, tires, and then they added these little fender extensions so that it can have a wider stance for improved performance. And they also improved the price by enhancing it significantly.
Oh, yes. They definitely improved the price. So you can get yourself one of these by putting down a small deposit of $25,000. And then you can go ahead and get one for the cost of a decent house. $250,000. It makes it sound so much more when you say $250,000 as opposed to $249,000.
They both sound like a rental house.
Yeah.
In a lot of parts of the country.
So the taxes you'll pay on this in most states is going to be enough for you to buy like a Chevy Bolt if you desired.
Yeah. Now, how does this one do off-road?
I'll let you know. Memorial Day special next year. Off-roading
I think
Lucid Air.
Jeff had a very good comment. I believe it was Jeff who said, just another way to keep building cars as slowly as Peter Rawlinson speaks.
Yeah. So that's my take. My thing on this is like, are you kidding me? Cool. All right, great. Let's start making the cars that you promised.
Right.
This whole focus on this is great. Like the week before, they had the stealth model. Okay, that's cool too, but let's start producing cars. I understand that it's different people working on this, but investors And supporters of the car get disheartened when all they see is new releases of products that may or may not come out because we don't see production. And you start to feel like you're talking to Trevor Milton and you're getting a lot of promises that may or may not get fulfilled.
Bear does drone flyovers of Lucid every week, and they are in the process of massively expanding their factory. Do you have any indication of when they expect the new phase of the factory to begin production? Middle of next year?
Probably. They're supposed to be done with it by in Q1 of next year, which means that they'll probably start tooling it up. But I don't. They won't say what the holdup is. For the existing plant and why they can't produce what they thought that they could, because they originally said that they're going to produce 20,000 cars this year. They've cut that back twice now, and so that being disheartening. But if your factory was set up for production capacity to reach 20,000, and I think it's actually supposed to be more than that, then where is your holdup? It's not in the production line. They said that there's some quality issues, there's some logistic issues, and there's some supply issues. They said all three of those things, but never really getting down on it and saying what is actually the problem. Rivian's producing more cars. Rivian started making cars about the same time as Lucid, and Rivian is in the few thousand range a quarter. So where's Lucid?
Yeah, I'm growing concerned, but we'll see in a year, I guess.
Yeah, they got it. They got the Saudi money, and you don't want to piss off the Saudis. You get the call to the embassy.
Any other genuinely stupid car news this week in terms of overpricing?
Oh, absolutely. Tesla is on this one. Full self-driving software to $15,000, but hurry now and get it before September something, and you can get it before the price goes up. But please keep in mind, if you buy it based on what I said and it doesn't work when you get it, that's not my fault. It's a beta. It's a beta product, and there's no guarantee that you'll get the full version until it's done.
15,000, man. That is a whole car. And
yeah. Especially in China, it's 3 cars.
Do you call those cars?
Somebody
those are
does.
Enclosed skateboards.
We're talking about Wuling again, right?
Yes, we are. And also the cherry ice cream.
Oh,
that's a real thing.
Did we ever show that one?
I don't know if we showed it, but it is adorable.
You showed that to me, and I was like, oh, I want to eat that.
I am increasingly concerned not only that I will never have a Tesla with full self-driving, but that I'll just never have a Tesla. I think by the time I can afford one, they will no longer be selling to consumers.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to have a Tesla with full self-driving unless I bought a used one that had it. That's the only way. I'm not going to pay $15,000. I thought it was overpriced at $7,000, maybe $4,000. I don't see how. This is the one thing. One of the few things that Tesla just kills me on is charging for this software that you don't even get. It's right now, if you order this, you get enhanced autopilot. You do not get full self-driving. And if you accept it into the beta, then you get some more. But it still doesn't work fully. It's not really full self-driving. I agree with the municipalities that have sued Tesla and said, you can't sell it like this. It's a poor name.
So what I believe is going to happen is once somebody cracks this, I think it's like a lot of technologies, everyone will crack it at the same time. And once there are 3, 4, 5 companies with competing products that are all about as good, it'll become a commodity and the price will fall.
Yeah.
If it was $4,000, I would buy it in a heartbeat, even just for the beta. And if it worked as if it genuinely was level 4 or 5 full self-driving, I'd probably pay $8,000. There's no way. 15 is it's prohibitive.
Okay. First of all, I disagree. I don't think that once Tesla figures it out, everyone else is going to start figuring it out. I'm going to tell you, this is me beating on the Ioniq again. Hyundai and their auto steer, they are so far off from Tesla autopilot that it's scary, because you go from one car to the other in the Hyundai autopilot, and I don't even know what they call it. They got some goofy name for it, but it will not take a ramp on a freeway. It will tell you it's got the ramp. It will take you into the ramp. It will start turning into the ramp, and once it realizes it can't do it, you know what it does?
Dumps you out.
Doesn't even say anything. It just shuts off, heading you straight towards the wall. And the first time that happened, I'm glad I was actually paying attention, because it just cuts you off, and it will let you change lanes while you're in that autopilot mode, which the Teslas don't, unless you have enhanced autopilot. But so what happens is, when you change lanes, it just shuts off for a second and comes back on. Like, oh, that's cool. But then as I'm driving, I realize that whenever it can't do what it's supposed to do, instead of saying ding ding or flash a light or something, it just shuts itself off. And then it comes back. Very scary. I don't know how Tesla, a company that wasn't making cars 20 years ago, can be so far ahead of all the other car manufacturers. That Hyundai is not there. If you want to see crap, drive a Hyundai with whatever they call it, because it will kill you if you're paying
I thought
attention.
we were only doing one Hyundai complaint a week.
Well, I screwed up the live stream, and I don't think they heard any of it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, or at least on my side.
Any other head-scratching EV news we got to cover?
Oh my goodness.
So I'm not going to play the audio on this, but so while Dodge is discontinuing their Charger and Challenger muscle cars, they're going to be replacing them with electric versions, which have big, loud speakers on the outside, so you can pretend that they go vroom, vroom, and it's like putting cards in your spokes is what it is.
Yeah, it really is. I thought this was probably much like when they came out with the first cars, and it was kind of like Monty Python with the coconuts, and you just had someone walking in front of the car to make the hoof clopping noise. You know what I'm talking about with Monty Python, right? Okay. Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You better with the coconuts, just so that people can hear horses coming. But it's just plain silly. The car looks awesome. I'm going to say that.
Beautiful.
I'm all over that, as long as it's not stupid, like $250,000 stupid, in lower levels of stupid also. But the car looks great. I hope that is something that you have to pay for, because I don't want that forced in my car. I'm sure there'll be an option to turn it off. I would never turn it on. But anybody who gets that in their car intentionally, it's like a badge of I'm a doofus if you actually run that on your car.
I can actually top the stupidity of this for you if you'd like. Did you know that there's already a product on the market called an electric charger? There's like 50,000 of them. Everything that takes a plug is an electric charger. You're going to struggle to trademark that, my friends.
I don't know. I'm sure they got a trademark on charger.
Yes, but you can't call it an electric charger because that is already widely in use in every electric product that is made that has a battery.
But they're not calling it an electric charger. They're calling it the Dodge Charger Daytona SRT.
Catchy.
It flows right off the tongue. So, by the way, a side note for car enthusiasts, the Charger for the last, 15, 20 years has had 4 doors, which is kind of like pissing on the Charger name, because that is incorrect. Chargers are supposed to have 2 doors, and it looks like they're going back to 2 doors. So, yay if that's
I
actually
think we
happening.
need more two-door options in cars. Maybe. We'll see what people buy.
I was kind of thinking that this morning. I woke up and I was like, oh my God, if there's just more 2-door cars, I think the world would be at peace. And then it stopped. The thought left my head.
Mm. Speaking of chargers, the best U.S. states for electric vehicles, you'll probably be shocked by the answer. So this genius article here from USA Today, America's high school newspaper, says that North Dakota, not California, is the best state to charge your electric vehicle, while Wyoming and Rhode Island ranked second and third respectively. Some of the nation's mid-sized and lesser populated states dominated best states to charge.
This is the stupidest article I could find.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Why would you compare the amount of chargers to the amount of cars? It's completely irrelevant. Even in California, where they have such a bad ratio, they're probably last on the list. But you can go into a small town in California and be the only dude there with the electric car and be like, this is great. I don't know what everyone's problem is. It's not specific on that. It's specific on how many charging stations are located in areas with lots of EVs. So there's nothing that makes North Dakota the best place to have an EV, especially because they're not going to work as well.
Right. It's a pretty interesting metric, but all right, whatever.
Yeah, it's a stupid metric. But let's go get some real chargers. What would solve this problem for California?
I think if you added 1,300 EV chargers just to LAX, that would do something, especially if you put half of them in the economy parking.
That is a lot of chargers.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
And they're level 2s, which isn't super exciting, but unless you're only flying out for 10 minutes, even if you're dropping someone off, a level 2 will give you something. But, I mean, even honestly, I've been saying this for years, put level 1s at airports in the long-term parking lots. Let people trickle charge at adding 5 miles a day if they're going to be gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm mixed on how to solve this issue, because when you have someone park at one of these chargers, I don't like the charging fees, like $2 to hook up. By the way, that's wrong. But when you have somebody hook up and they're going on a 14-day trip, they've now taken that spot up for 14 days. Whether it's a 7 kilowatt charger or a 50 kilowatt charger, if they're 50, they're going to be done in an hour or two. If it's 7, they're going to be done in a day. But the car's still sitting there taking that spot. And the spots are going to be at a premium. There's probably not going to be idle fees, because what can you do? You know, you're somewhere else. I don't like the $2 charging fee when you hook up, because I have oftentimes had to stop and start recharging at Electrify America. And if you had to disconnect and then reconnect every time, and you're getting $2 for each time, that's not right. Matter of fact, I disconnected some dude on a Bolt, because Electrify America has the screens on one side of their charging things. So I went up to it and I was like, oh, I don't know why this hasn't cleared. So I cleared the screen and I disconnected the Bolt guy. He came over. He's like, he wanted to fight me. No, he was real cool about it. He's like, I think you shut mine off. I'm like, sorry, I'm an idiot, because the screen's on my side. I thought this was my charging station. So I don't like that, but I still don't know what the best solution is. Do you have a lot of slow chargers for these long-term parking? Are they going to have a section for long-term parking? Could they have a place that said, these chargers are for people who are parking 7 to 14 days?
Well, one solution would be valet.
Nice.
So they can juggle them in and out and just get you to whatever your maximum state of charge is.
On the surface, that sounds really good. But when you think about it,
the logistics are a nightmare.
No, well, yeah, but the employees who are doing this, they're not going to know what the hell they're doing.
Well, sure they would. After a week, they'd be pros.
No.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The valets are all. I've had nothing but very professional valets.
You're gonna be charging up your car, going up the ramps, spinning around, going up the parking garage as fast as they can, and then hitting the roof and maybe going to the next building, jumping it, and then bring it back and recharge it. It's all good.
Right. You see, you just said it yourself. It's all good.
Yes. Okay, so I guess I'm talking to my wife. That was sarcasm.
Oh, I see. So great. We've got air covered. What if you could actually, it'd be cooler if you could actually just fly an electric plane while you're there.
That looks really fun. I wonder how quiet it is.
Harbour Air completes electric battery seaplane test flight from Vancouver to Victoria.
How many fatalities were there?
No fatalities. 72 kilometers is like, what, 40 miles, 45 miles?
Probably.
42 miles, something like that?
It's 42.73.
Okay. And 24 minutes. So for a short flight, it can work.
No,
it's going to be quieter than a gas airplane, but not significantly, because a lot of the noise is the propeller, not the motor, not the engine.
I think this is pretty cool, and I think this is really good for such an early iteration of this. So
yeah,
I'm impressed. I like it. So what else flies?
What else flies? I think that's it.
I mean, there's flying electric boats now.
What? You can't fly a boat? That's crazy.
Well, okay, look at me. Fly.
This boat really flies. Grease Lightning flies.
Go Grease Lightning.
Yeah, that's what Tesla should call their SpaceX package Roadster. So this is pretty cool. Candela boat photographed in Sweden in 2021 uses hydrofoils, which lift the vessel's hull above the water's surface when traveling.
Yes, I heard that there is a whole lot of less resistance when the boat is actually out of the water, and which is going to increase efficiency. And
it reduces your wake.
Oh, yeah. There's almost no wake. You're just cutting through the water. I bet the ride would be a lot smoother. If you're a boater, you may not like it because it's going to be so different, because boats are, they're generally not smooth. They're bouncy, and small boats, not big boats. So right. I don't know. I think it would be fun to have. One thing for sure, no matter what, you're going to look cool.
Yes. And where are they getting the juice?
They're getting the juice from Polestar, which is...
And I think that's a reasonable way to do it.
Yeah, I get something that's kind of already set up a proven battery pack. Did you hear the story about the Chinese guy who had a Polestar, and he had some damage done to it, and he had no insurance on the car, and it damaged his battery pack, and they wanted like $80,000 to replace. Polestar wanted like $80,000 to replace the battery pack.
No, $80,000.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was more than the value of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's.
Oh, you know who had that? The Electric Viking had a video on that. That's where I heard that story.
Well, the good news is, that's the only ship news, right?
No, electric ship news. We have more electric ship news.
Well, it turns out this one is more contentious. EV shipping is set to blow ICE engines out of the water. Modeling 5 to 10 gigawatt hours electrified container ships, researchers find that 40% of routes today could be electrified in an economically viable manner, even before considering environmental cost. Does that sound probable? Does it sound believable?
It sounds very believable. And the irony of this is a lot of these heavy duty shipping things already use electric, but where do they get the power? They get it from diesel motors, just like electric trains. And there are ships out there that do have electric motors, and they're powered by diesel generators that create the power for them. So now it's a matter of storing that electricity for your route, as opposed to generating it with diesel generators along the way. So a lot of what's necessary is kind of already in place.
So the caveat here is this is not trans-Pacific shipping. This is 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers. So like 1,200 to 1,800 mile, is that right? Something like that. Routes, which is 40% of routes. Batteries are still improving. Getting to the point where we can cross from China to major markets may be a tougher sell, but every step in the right direction counts.
Yes. Though I'm sure if you ask some environmentalists, they would say that the shipping container ships are responsible for 90% of all greenhouse gases. But I'm not sure that it's as far as greenhouse gases and saving it for that, or saving that, I don't think there's going to be a significant difference. I do think that there could be a significant cost savings by switching over.
Well, bunker fuel is what these ships typically use, which is the heaviest, dirtiest byproduct of the refinement process. And I guess my question would be, when we stop using bunker fuel for ships, what are we going to do with it?
Party?
Put it in asphalt? Pour it back into the well? I mean, we could do that, I guess.
I don't know what the origins of bunker fuel is and where it comes from and what else it can be used for. So the only thing I could say to answer that question is to make up something silly.
Let's hear it.
Hair dye.
No, the bunker fuel got its name from Hogan's Heroes, I think.
Really?
Oh no, we're making up silly stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's what my wife calls sarcasm. Jeez, please, man.
The hell do I know?
What are we doing here? Speaking of oversized.
Yes, you rang.
Did you see that the first truck lanes for charging are happening at the Santa Nella supercharger?
Yeah, they totally jacked that up so bad.
Why?
Because there's not enough room.
Too skinny?
It's too skinny, and they've got something on the...
Oh, you can't swing.
Yeah, because if you have a trailer on you, when you, like, let's say the middle position, like the one on the left.
The right? Far left.
Far left.
You will clip that first car.
Yeah, you're going to clip the car next to you. You need to have a longer drive through from the where you're coming from to where you're going. Because say you have a 30-foot pull behind trailer on you. You are not going to be able to pull that out without the back end of that trailer hitting the supercharger and busting it off. Well, they got poles, so you're just going to bust up your RV.
But the poles are barely covering it.
They'll hit the poles. They will.
So this would work for if you're pulling your little landscaping lawnmower trailer.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah, and maybe they have something that says they have a restriction on length of a trailer. In that spot next to the supercharger does say no parking. So
yeah, but it's still not enough now that you point out that there's a U-store it right there.
Yeah, and you don't know what's on the other side of this picture either. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. This thing could just wrap around. I mean, me personally, if I was pulling into this, I would take the one on the far right.
Absolutely.
That would be my baby right there.
Yeah.
Nice though, it has a trash can. That's cool.
That's not at every location, and
No, it's not. I usually take my garbage out and I put it behind the guy behind me when I go to a supercharger.
Yeah. So John Yent asked, that's not for mega charger for semis, right? Nope. Those are still just regular superchargers. And Mark Babbitt had some helpful information on grades of bunker fuel. Bunker A gas oil bunker fuel typically called marina diesel or marine gas oil. Bunker B, low viscosity, vac resid range bunker fuel, typically cut with some lighter fuel. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, that totally cleared it up for me.
And JJ asks, are those for the semi? Those are not. Those are still regular superchargers. The semi one does not have an opening in the middle. But boy, I would love to see someone with a semi try to use this charger. And not just because it would take you a full day to charge.
But because it wouldn't fit?
Because it wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And there are other locations that have pull-throughs. They're just very rare. I've only seen them a couple times on social media.
Yeah, I mean, it is a step in the right direction, but I guarantee you there is somebody out there, some unknowing person who one day is going to damage something on those supercharging stations. And it's unfortunate that whoever designed this, and I'd love for them to hear what I'm going to say, has never driven anything with a trailer before. And they screwed the pooch on this one.
I have to agree. I'm sure there are civil engineering guidelines that tell you what the minimum requirements are, and they must have gone with the absolute minimum requirements. But that's, I don't know.
The problem, the problem is the absolute minimum requirements to work for somebody that has skills.
Right.
I rent out. Yeah, I rent out my RVs. I've got several different areas that have been in this exact position at the gas station, and the renters come back and said, I hit the pole at the gas station. It's happened, I think, 5 times.
Yeah.
And that's just the gas station, where it's not a narrow lane like this.
Right, so, where it's wide open. Jeff pointed out that even without a trailer, Cybertruck will fit a lot nicer in there based on its width.
Yeah. But you don't need a pull-through, because...
That's also true. That's also true. Yeah, okay. Fair. Mm-hmm. Any car news? Because we've covered a lot of sea and air. Covers a little bit more land.
Yeah, the DeLorean made an appearance at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, it looks like every modern coupe, except with the gull wing doors.
Yeah, except it's got the little doors. I think the back end is a little bit different, a little bit. So, and it's not stainless steel, which was disappointing. But I guess somebody's bought up all the stainless steel in the world. So,
yeah, it seems like that may be the case.
Yeah.
I'm still curious what it's going to cost. I'm curious on the cost and specs.
I thought it was like $200,000.
Well, that'd be great if it's going to give you, Koenigsegg or Nivera.
No, it's not. It's not. I think its stats are going to be equivalent to a Model 3 performance.
Yeah, I do too. Because getting past that point is technically difficult. It's a technical engineering challenge.
Not for Tesla and Lucid, apparently.
But it was a monumental challenge for them. It took them a long time and a lot of money to get there. And this is not going to be a high volume car. It does not aspire to be a high volume car.
So let's go to the next one, because
okay.
Because I think the next one is probably worthy of the 10 minutes we have left.
I think it is.
You want to read it? My 8-year-old son, Dad, look at that car. It looks like an angry beaver. Now I can't unsee it. And now you, everyone who's watching on my channel and Brian's channel, you cannot unsee this either. That is an angry beaver.
So pretty. It is. Yeah. It is an.
You know what it also looks like? It looks like an old fat lady with granny panties bending over.
Wow. What does that make the hood emblem?
Well, if they happen to drop their drawers, I don't know.
Oh dear. Should get that checked if it's got those blue spots.
That's where you get monkeypox at. That's what I heard.
I gotta say, this grill design, I'm not a fan. I get you're trying to do something different, but
it seemed like it should have been cool, but it just doesn't work. 4Q says, looks like someone scanned their butt on a copier.
Yep, it do. Yep, it do.
So he sees the butt in that also.
Sandy evaluated the i9 in a video, I think, today, and he loves it.
Yeah.
He is excited about it. He likes the build quality. He likes the feel of it, the look of it, tech of it. Although on the i9, the hood does not open. It does not have any serviceable parts under the hood. So that is bizarre. But it does on the side have a little port to add your windshield wiper fluid. For real.
Could you imagine how much trouble you get into, like if you're crossing a border and they want to check under your hood?
Yeah.
They're not going to believe that it doesn't open. They're going to think that you're hiding something.
Yeah. Don't worry. We'll get it open. Oh, turns out there was nothing there. Well, put it back together.
Wow, that's not our job. That's your job.
No, that is your job. Oh, John says, those grills make me think of a housefly.
Oh, I see that too. That's like the eyes of a housefly.
But all these things that we see, none of them are positive.
I'm trying to see what the two headlights, they look like an angel's wings, but then it's attached to the fly. So
a dragonfly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a smooth design, but it just did not work. Who was it? It wasn't Studebaker. Which car company made was it the Edsel? Where they...
Oh, that's Ford.
The Ford Edsel that they screwed up the grill?
And
yeah.
This does look like an Edsel grill.
Looks like something's supposed to go in the middle there.
Yeah. You remember Ford's slogan, quality is job one. I mean, we don't do it, but it is the first job.
Yeah.
We don't do the second or third jobs either. But they're on the list. Don't worry.
All right. Let's move on to the final story.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it, but I'll read the headline. What Tesla needs to dominate the market? Part 1. I ran about stuff Tesla needs to save it from itself. Also sausages. So right there you had me.
Yeah, you had me at sausage. All right.
So break it down.
Well, first it goes into his Elon the problem. I'm going to just skip that because you're going to get half the world, like JJ is going to say, yeah, he's a problem. You're going to get the other half that says he isn't the problem. The thing is, having a person like him in charge is the dynamic that it needs, as opposed to Peter Rawlinson. So that's just my thoughts on it, but I don't want to spend time on that. Same sausage, different lengths. This is an interesting thing. I started reading this, like, did I fall off the article? It started talking about how BMWs all looked alike a while ago, and they just looked like they were extended out. And it goes into, why don't we do something that would like that with Tesla? Do they all look alike? No, yes, but it just, I don't know. That wasn't a great part of the article. More choice is good for consumers, bad for Tesla. Again, more products and more things coming out, but then they start talking about the other products, and I would love to see an electric delivery van. I would love to see an electric minivan, and I think you've got a lot more space for batteries in a van, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Longer wheelbase.
So, and then maybe something that's like a Jeep. That's not the Cybertruck, because the Cybertruck is going to be
very big.
Very big. But something Jeep size, which would be like a little fun kind of sporty off-road thing. And then there's the $25,000 Tesla. If Tesla starts putting these things together,
25,000.
Sorry, I forgot to do that. Yeah, that's okay.
And you got to do it sarcastically too, because there ain't gonna be no 25,000 now Tesla.
Is this sarcastic when you do the quotes? Like
yeah.
Not like
that's good.
Believe me, sarcastic. All right.
But adding these models
yes.
will make a big difference.
I think it definitely could, but right now Tesla's got a track of we're staying focused on what we're doing this year. Next year we'll have some new models, and this is what Lucid should be doing instead of coming. I wonder what will come out next week from Lucid. Maybe they'll have a flying car.
No, it'll just be the same Lucid Air, but slightly different.
Yeah. 3 motors. Very cool. Guys spent a lot of time and money, and there's probably some engineers that worked on that for the last year.
At what cost?
At what cost, and how? Maybe have those engineers. Maybe those are the guys that actually know how to get the production fixed.
Yeah, they need to go down to the line. When Tesla was in their production hell with the Model 3, they took the engineers from the solar division and brought them over to the production line to help get things sorted out. Maybe that's what you guys need to do and stop working on trying to build a faster race car and offer bespoke batteries to Formula E or whatever.
That is something that they've done before they even made a car. They've been supplying the batteries. But that being said, fix your production line.
And Jason Rogers points out that $25,000 Tesla isn't the car. That's just what FSD beta will cost in 6 months.
Yeah.
So
this article finishes up and says, and I don't know how they're going to lay this out, so we'll have to see on part 2 of this, is that in order for Tesla to really succeed is that they need dealerships.
Oh. Well, good luck with that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it better not. It better not, because that is one of the things that I love about buying my Tesla and my Polestar, was ordering online and not dealing with buying cars, because we all know how I hate buying cars.
This whole article is worth reading. There'll be a link in our descriptions after the show. Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about? We've got a little bit of time.
I wanted to thank all of my Patreons and all of the people that came to watch us today. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
And I think Brian does too.
I do too. I wanted to thank my super chatters who Jeff and JJ for the super chats. Thank you so much. I did answer the questions when they came in. And yeah, our patrons are what allow us to keep going, because YouTube famously pays F all. So thank you guys for that. Barry, you've got a live stream coming up Thursday?
Thursday will be my next one, and you have one that's for Lucid, and you have one on Friday, don't you?
I have one on Friday, every Friday. And it'll be, good. It always is.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to thank all my super chatters. Well, actually, I already did. I got them earlier when they didn't super chat. But anyway, I do appreciate you guys. It is 5 o'clock Pacific time.
Somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock here. Gotta go get a beer.
Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you, Bear, for the chat and also the lengthy pre-show chat, which we always do.
Yes.
And I'll just thank you in advance for the post-show chat, which we also do.
All right. We just have to get off because Brian needs a cigarette.
That's totally it. That's what it is.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys.